Hey, YouTube, it's Ryan Bailey from So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. This is a Beverly Hills reunion recap for part one and part two of this final season. And thankfully, there's only three parts, so we only got one more part to go. I'll mention what's on my head in a second. This is visual for you guys for the YouTube because I record the podcast at the same time. So I'm going to, what you just missed on the podcast was a mashup because I like to mash songs up, and then it cuts into Weezer Beverly Hills. So go subscribe to the podcast too if you'd like a just an audio representation and not a visual one. But here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome. Oh my God, you guys. We're finally here. We're in the off season. Tell you what, buckle up, folks. Are you ready? Are you ready? Because we took last week off because I was at BravoCon and there was just no possible humanly way I could do it without hurting myself even further than I did when I was in New York. So we are doing the impossible. Let's even see if I'm able to do this. Is there anybody from the Guinness Book of World Records in my room tonight? No. Okay. If there was, I think they would be like, you might have the longest podcast ever tonight, recapping two, not just one, but two, last week and this week's reunion. Now, remember, there will be timestamps, which will tell you when part one starts and part two starts. But I got to be honest with you, folks, not tons. Listen, I've watched this thing. I mean, I got back from New York, felt like crap, watched it, felt worse. Then I woke up the next day. You always got to watch it again, watched it again, was like, okay, maybe there's some stuff in here. And then I just got finished watching it a third time. It's 9:45 p.m. on a Thursday night. Watched it both back to back again. And I think I'm the most miserable I've ever been in my the most miserable I've ever been in my life right now because I have to share 2 more hours of space with these nut jobs. I mean that in a really nice way. Is it okay to say nut jobs anymore? They're kooky. They're kooky. What I'm wearing, if you don't see, you're not watching this on YouTube. If you're hearing this at home, can you hear the fabric I'm playing with right now? What I'm doing is I'm wearing the lingerie. It's kind of like Thor with his hammer. I'm wearing the lingerie on my head that Tom Girardi bought for somebody that was not Erica Jane, that was won at auction at the Girardi Key sale last summer. It gives me strength. Not only that, I'd like to also, for the YouTube audience, but also what I'm holding up is once again a picture of, it's Tom Girardi in his law uniform, which is his law uniform, which is a suit like Batman, and it's framed. And this, may you, Tom Girardi, give me a good show, you lying son of a bitch. Allegedly, I did, but we can say that now, right? Oh, I'm so tired of it all. Can we laugh together? Can we be a fucking idiot together, please? Let's just put all the cares and the worries away. And I know Taylor Swift released an album tonight. I know that's out. It's called Midnights, right? And I know I want to listen to it too. Somebody gave me an advance copy, but I had to work all day, so I wasn't able to listen to it. But let's just assume it's amazing. And let's assume that Kanye West doesn't exist. And let's assume all of this. And let's just go to a land called Beverly Hills. I believe that's in California. And let's just talk about these ladies. And I'm going to do detours. I'm going to do little shares from BravoCon. Now, if you've not been listening to the pod all week, I've done stuff there and I've talked about BravoCon. And if you're a Patreon member, hello, baddies, you got tons of updates over there and secret shit that I probably shouldn't have said. And I'm scared to go back and listen to. But I mean, dude, even on the main pod yesterday, Kyle Cook made a drunken appearance on the podcast. No other podcast is giving you Kyle Cook saying, I'm going balls deep. I mean, that is a So Bad It's Good exclusive. I'm going to actually take this lingerie off. It does not feel right. And I feel like my mom would be ashamed of me. How have you guys been? I feel like I talk to you every day, but I'm telling you, that BravoCon, that was a week ago, and it possibly feels like years. There was like a Benjamin Button effect, even though I don't think I am getting any younger, obviously. I think it aged me, but something weird happened there. I think my DNA got rearranged somehow. Yeah, I don't know. There's something weird that happened there, and I still just don't feel right. And yeah, you could say that's COVID. It's not. It's just too much. It's all just too much. And once again, I'm begging you, Bravo, the powers of be, Give us a week off, man. Tell us what you make advertising wise, and we'll all pitch in and we'll take care of it. Because I just want to talk to my family and see some friends, and I just want to chill, like, so let's, after next week at the finale, which, by the way, what fucking just, let's bring Kathy out and get it over with. My God. The best part of my evening, every time I watch these Beverly Hills recaps, is on the second one when Andy goes, and for the conclusion of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion. Next week is the conclusion. We have a 3-part reunion. And if you watch these first 2, you realize why. It's painful, some of this stuff. Not only painful, it's just boring. It's boring, some of it. We're going to make it fun, though. So don't worry about that. Like I always say with my podcasts, and a lot of runners will write me and say, I've finished a marathon listening to one of your shows. I tell you this, I've got to find maybe this is the show for runners. If you do know runners or running clubs, please recommend this to your friends. I hope you guys are good, but just remember, it's your weekend now. This is the time to chill. We're all going to have a little downtime. Not me. I'm going straight into selling the OC recaps for the Patreon, and the Kardashian recaps will be on the Patreon this weekend. So I still got work to do, but it takes a lot of Bravo to make me miss the Kardashians. Like, I had too much Bravo where I'm like, you know what? Kim isn't that bad. You know what? Chloe's cool. I'm Scott Disick. I'm actually in these episodes. I've got 2 minutes, you guys. I wanted to give a shout out to I have, it's so funny that I do, but I have a Cameo. It's this thing where you can send messages to people, and some people ordered them over, they ordered them over the BravoCon, and I think I sent some really shitty ones, and I want to say I'm sorry, and I wanted to say hello to some people. Let's see, I wanted to say hello to Stephanie, who I talked to last night on Cameo. Stephanie from her mom, Debbie. My good friend, Michelle, I sent Michelle now 2 videos. One I didn't even realize I sent at the Real Housewives of Potomac panel on Sunday at BravoCon. I was looking through my phone for pictures and video, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait a sec, what's this? It's a whole video to Michelle. And then I had sent an apology video for not sending her a video, but I had been going on 2 hours of sleep. So Michelle, you're getting double videos, and a huge shout out on the pod. Michelle, Michelle's amazing. So she's been with me from the beginning. Also, I would like to say hey to Brandon. Actually, Brandon, this was weeks ago. Was that no? Oh, I'm not supposed to say that one yet because that has not happened yet. You know what? Cameos. Order your cameos today. I'll do a Sutton strike for you. By the way, there is video floating around BravoCon. I'm so scared. Where people would just come up to me and ask me to do my Sutton imitation. So I'm in the middle of the Javits Center going, I say, I don't know what you doing, Ryan Bailey, sweating all over me. Now, if this is the only episode that you listen to every week, if you're like, okay, I know he releases 4 other shows a week, but I only listen to the Beverly Hills because that's how I like to live my life. That's great. Let me catch you up. And if you don't follow my Instagram, then you're not my mom, because my mom, and by the way, not to brag, my mom loves every post. She understands 0 of them, but she likes every post. And that's what we call a fan and a friend. So this right here, you guys, if you're looking on YouTube, this is a fancy Drew bag, like Nancy Drew, like our son's on fancy Drew. Maritza made this amazing graphic a long time ago, like of a Nancy Drew old book, but she made it fancy Drew, and it was like the case of the rolled over car in Pasadena or something like that. It was one of my favorite arts she ever did. But I bought, actually a listener bought this bag for me. Like, I was standing in line at the Sutton store, and she was like, "Are you Ryan Bailey?" And I was like, I think so, yeah. And she was like, "I would like to buy you this. And if you bought a bag, you got to go meet Sutton." So I was like, fuck, here's my chance, dude. Fucking Sanjit, her boyfriend from this season, out of the picture. I'm in a suit. Like, I was in a nice suit. Now, granted, I had walked outside, and listen, a lot of the people that bumped into me specifically on Friday, I'd like to apologize. You might have drowned being in my presence, because there was so much sweat dripping off of my body. And it just got, it's like all of my body just gave up at once. I got the first person that knew who I was. I immediately was like, I was so taken aback. And I was like, no, this can't be what. And then it was really cool. But at that point, my body decided to start sweating. And then it's not like you can just tell your body to stop, even though that would be a really cool thing that God could give us, as like a bonus. If you did good one week, it'd be like, you can control your sweat glands. But I was not in control of my sweat glands on Friday. So any picture you see of me, and there are a lot out there that I've seen, I look like I have been pissed on by an elephant. They're just drenched. So just to catch you up, you can go to Instagram to see the finished results. But Mary Payne Gilbert from Pink Shade Podcast and Isabel, who edits and produces their show, I believe. She was a really nice lady. They were standing with me to meet Sutton. Like, she shows up, beautiful as can be. And I'm like, here's the moment. Here is the moment. You've been talking tough all season, Bailey. What are you going to do? Are you going to sweep this lady off her feet? Are you going to pick her up and you're going to take her out of BravoCon back to your hotel and then, I don't know, get some food or something? Like, it didn't matter. But I was like, this is the moment. And it harkened back to me when I was in elementary school and I wanted to ask out Rachel Beaker so bad. And then by the way, I was trying to look like Joey McIntyre from New Kids on the Block because she had a big crush on Joey McIntyre from New Kids on the Block. So my hair was curly and I cut it into this reverse triangle like he had it. And I just looked like a goofball. And I told her I liked her, and she said she did not like me that way, and just as a friend. And so I was already having those. And by the way, that's the kind of insane people that are at BravoCon. Me, where I was like, I see my future together, but it might be like back in elementary school. Like, this is the shit going through my head. People are literally like, sign my bag, Sutton. And I'm like, well, should I ask her to marry me right now? Or like, should I wait a little bit? What do I do? And I'm sitting there. And Mary Payne, by the way, from Pink Shade, she's all confident. She's all like, she was great at keeping the line orderly because people were trying to cut in line. And she's like, well, let me go first. I'll get this out of the way because it looks like your thing's going to be a production. And I was like, look at this. She thinks my thing's going to be a production. Wow. Like, this is going to be, I got a good, like, that means she thinks we're going to rap a lot, And my big idea was to get down on my knees and propose. And like, listen, I know she's not going to say yes. But I thought it would be a good, funny picture for everybody. And everybody like, oh, yay, Ryan. And then everybody grabs me. Like, my dream, you guys, I've told this, like, even from the first podcast I was on, my dream is to someday, when I'm at their appropriate weight, be lifted on everybody's shoulders like they do in the movies, like the end of Rudy or Teen Wolf, is that you lift me on my shoulders and they're like, Ryan. Like, that's what I was picturing this moment to be. And it like suddenly be like, oh my God, you're Ryan Bailey. I had no idea how handsome you are. I was like, people, Lisa Rinna says bad things about you, but now I see you are a Southern gentleman, even though you are from Kansas, I'll say. And so all these thoughts are going through my head, folks. But I'm getting nervous. And I had shot a commercial for DirecTV that morning with Claire Crowley from The Bachelorette, which I'm so proud of. And wouldn't you know it, didn't fucking sweat one drop. Like, I'm a fan of Claire, but like, if I had shot with Sutton, it would have been fucking Titanic all over again. It was just floods everywhere. But I didn't even drop a sweat. Didn't even work up a sweat. Fucking go to Bravo, meet Sutton. I'm fucking drenched. Like, it is raining inside the Javits Center on my body. It was like there was a warning over the loudspeaker of like, please stay away from a 6-foot gentleman named Ryan Bailey. And yes, I am 6 foot. And yes, by the way, Austin is tall, but he's not that tall. Everybody needs to calm down about Austin from Southern Charm. So I might have a heart attack during this one. Would you think that would help the downloads if you actually listen? And that's the thing. I'd have to wait. I'd have to edit it during the heart attack so I could release it, because nobody's going to know how to release my podcast but me. Anyways, we'll figure that out at a later date. So Mary Payne's in this big conversation with her now. And I'm like, geez, Mary Payne, you're really going for it now. Like, I was like, save a little air for me, Mary, the one that's in love with Sutton. Sutton's all dressed nice. And I'm like, and I'm all sweaty hair. Like, if you look in my fucking picture, my hair looks like it's tendrils, like Cody from Sister Wives, where I was like little, like hairs were like going like this. If you're on YouTube, like just falling down my face like this. Like I was like a chubby emo kid. And I was like, what the fuck? And I mean, it's so, I told Kaya from Bravo While Black yesterday, it was like Christmas Story. It was like, I want a Red Ryder BB shotgun. The minute I saw Sutton, I was like, I'm Ryan Bailey from So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. I think I said that. Like, I'm pretty sure I said that. And I keep saying all week. So this is the first time you're hearing this. Sorry for everybody that started before. I think she either is aware of me and hates me, or I must have mumbled some gobbledygook and she just saw a big sweaty man. Either way, it did not go good. And she's like, yeah, okay, yeah. And I'm like, okay, I think I asked her for a picture. Listen, she was supposed to sign the fucking bag. I forgot all about the bag. Like, the bag was already over my head trying to strangle myself. It was, what the fuck? And sorry if families are listening together. I'm a little more cursing heavy today. So sorry, kids, but at the same time, kids, it's 2022. Let's grow up. It's time, right? The Sutton thing doesn't seem to be working out. So let's grow up. The innocence is gone. As Don Henley says, it's the end of the innocence. We're going to war now. And Sutton's like, yeah. And then Isabel, I mean, I could tell she's like probably freaked out because he's like, this isn't going well. I completely scrapped getting on my knee at that point because that would just be like security. And I just get the word. I mean, she videos it, and I swear to God, oh fuck, I just realized that's on her phone. Well, I'm never showing you the video ever. And I didn't cry or anything like that. Don't worry. I don't even know. And I was so, it just went so bad. It went, I didn't get to say, I stand up for you every week, Sutton. I stand up for you. Like, it was pathetic. It reminded me, do you guys remember that movie Back to the Future with Michael J. Fox? And Crispin Glover plays his dad, but then like Marty McFly goes back and meets the young version of his dad, Crispin Glover. And it reminded me of him, of Michael J. Fox trying to get his dad to talk to his mom so he can be born. By the way, spoiler alert, if nobody's seen Back to the Future. And he was like, what if she rejected me? And it's like, I went up to Sutton and was like, you're my density. I mean, my destiny. Like, I didn't even fucking get, that was smooth compared to what I did. And so I got a picture with my eyes closed, looking like a fucking sweaty, creepy garbage man. No offense to garbage men. They get paid more than I do, but you know what I'm saying? It looked eerie. Like, you know, it's like me and Annabelle DeSisto recapped The Ring earlier this week, the horror movie. I looked like the little girl from The Ring, but just bigger and less hair. It was just that kind of vibe that I was throwing out there. And I just, you know, when time slows way down and you're like, this is not going well. How do you save this? Oh, you can't save this. It's done. You've ruined this forever. And I gotta tell you, man, she scared me. Like, it's like she looked through me like, what are you slow boy? Like, I thought she thought I was like, what are you dull in the head? I'll say, who's this boy sweating and swabbing all over me? I'll say, please, there's a line here, son. And people want to get their tote bag signed by me, Sutton Strack, you know? And I was so upset because I needed to tell you. I knew I had to come back and tell the audience, and I was hoping to make you guys proud, and I fucking tanked it. I so bad it's good. You know, like I made it so bad. It's not really. I fucked it up. Dude, even Maritza was with me, and I keep telling the story because it cracks me up. Maritza left. I was like, why'd you leave me? And she goes, because I knew it wasn't going to go well. And I knew I was going to feel bad for you. And I was like, holy shit. Like, the Ryan army was even leaving. Like, they were like, well, defeat. Like, it was and by that point, I had shot a commercial for DirecTV. I met Kathy Hilton and all these Bravo Lebs the night before at this party. It was awesome, riding high. People already had recognized me. So I'm like living my dream, living my truth. It was one of those moments where I was like, you were born to do this. Maybe you finally found your place in life. Like, maybe the seas are parting and everything is just going to come your way. And instead of the water just like parting and coming your way, the water just went right over me and turned into sweat all over my body. And then I was just praying. I was like, how many people saw that? Like, I was like, oh no, oh no. I really did almost put the tote bag over my head. And said, I think I ran and hid at Captain Lee's his book little table, because I was just trying to get somewhere. Like, I got my hands got the shakes, you guys. Like, that's how nervous I was. And I don't get it. Like, I talk to people over Zoom all day, every day. I talk to you guys all day, every day. I make fun of all of these ladies. And then I shit you not, and I hate to say this, allegedly, I believe Lisa Rinna is, I got you, Ryan. I got you. I told Sutton to act like you're a doofus. The only thing that'll actually cheer me up right now, I believe, is we if we hear something that actually kind of made me feel better. A lot of people had shared audio with me of this, and I was like, you know what, this isn't the best, but it makes me feel a little better. And that's, I missed the Beverly Hills panel, you guys, on Friday, and that was the big one that I wanted to go to, but I was still working. And that's fine, but I didn't get to hear Lisa Rinna because, she got booed, you guys. She got booed, but I want you to hear it as well, so you can share in, what I think is one of the most amazing, just the sound of Lisa Rinna get booed. Like, it's like meditative for me. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to find the video right now, and all I'm seeing is sweaty pictures of me and Sutton. That is exactly how it should be. Okay, here we go. Crystal Minkoff, everybody. Ooh. Yeah. Oh my God, that's baby making music right now. This is the sound I'm going to make babies to. Do you hear that? Okay, and she's coming up and she's flipping everybody up. And then people give her it's a little nice charity applause, like with me and Sutton, where people are like, oh, it was nice. The slow man met Sutton, and he seemed very sweaty. So that was my BravoCon. How was yours? Unfortunately, I had to come home and watch these two recaps. Thankfully, Juliana Carrazza, as she has done all season, has taken brilliant notes. So trust me, if you will, to be in my hands for these next 8 hours as we go through what is so close. We're so close to being done. Also, I had mentioned this too, but just so you know, I did meet Kathy Hilton on Thursday night, and she's another person, and she likes my post, but doesn't follow me. So I said, hey, I'm so bad it's good with Ryan Bailey. She's like, uh-huh, uh-huh. And it was a very dark, listen, I'm still team Kathy, but Kathy definitely had a conniption. And I don't like Rinna, but there's some interesting energy there. Like, it was interesting. Like, people that I loved were like Whitney from Salt Lake, Ashley Darby was lovely. All the Jersey people. I mean, Jackie, Margaret, Teresa Giudice. I mean, they were all just amazing. But Kathy had some real interesting energy. Crystal Minkoff, you guys, came up to me in the hotel lobby. Maritza can attest to this, and was like, look at you, a celebrity's here. And she was the nicest. And I almost hate to say that, because sometimes you want the dirt. And I was like, oh, this is exactly what I say to you guys on the podcast. She's really normal. We talked about her kids, and I talked about, like, she was really kind of great. And I'm sorry to have to break the news to you that she was great. So, I mean, listen, she still kind of sticks her foot in it, and a little, foot in her mouth in a couple of these scenes. But overall, I kind of agree with one big scene. And overall, this is just a really weird, and I want to try to keep this humorous, because listen, we work too hard, and these are our escapist shows. But there were some moments where I was just bummed. There was like some cutaways to Garcelle in the second part with Diana. There was a little too much laughy jokey with Rinna and Erica. I'm like, yo, I mean, Andy schooling us, the audience, of like, there is no place for hate in the Bravo audience. And I'm like, well, you leave tons of room for hate right up on the stage. You let Rinna hate all the time. Like, what? I don't get how the audience isn't able to do it, but you let this joker, like literally joker, right next to you be a complete ass. the whole, I mean, what is it? 3 seasons now that I can count before. I mean, I found her entertaining before that. But let's get into this. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 12, episode 22. Reunion Part 1 summary. A surprise visit from a special guest kicks off the chicest reunion yet. You guys who's writing this, don't put the chicest because then we know it's Jamie Lee Curtis. And by the way, isn't it hysterical? Like Jamie Lee Curtis all of a sudden was like the president. People like, did you see how these housewives lost their fucking minds? It was like, oh, oh, Jamie, oh, like I'm like, oh my god, I like Jamie Lee Curtis. I think she's very talented, but like, you know, I saw her with the wind chime thing, and I was like, that's cool. But I wasn't like, oh my god, am I seeing things? Oh, people were. It was like blood coming out of people's eyes. Like, oh my god, this is insane, Jamie Lee. So I was like, in that, and I told you guys this. You guys never listen to me because I'm so jokey and you can't take anything I say seriously, but I'm always right. Did I not tell you that Jamie Lee Curtis would be a surprise guest like a month ago? I already told you this. Listen, I have a gift. It's God-given, I think. I don't know. Maybe my parents paid for it, but it's a gift, and I'm right a lot of the times. And listen, but what's great about the Housewives? Well, like I always say it with me. Lisa Rinna sucks. No, say it with me. Everybody can have their own opinions, right? But mine is always the correct one. But that still means you can have your own, okay? Dorit revisits trauma from her home invasion. Fun. That's good. Let's catch up with that. Kyle, Lisa, and Erica challenge Crystal's contradictory statements. Wouldn't it be great if it was like Kyle, Lisa, and Erica challenge Crystal to arm wrestling? Like, wouldn't that be nice out of the blue? You're like, the reunion was so weird. They started arm wrestling halfway through. Like, that would be a nice switch up because you're like, I thought they were going to get into like kind of an argument about the season. Instead, Crystal literally ripped Erica Jane's forearm right clean off her body. It was insane. And then Garcelle admits to bad deeds. What is that even? Garcelle admits to bad deeds. What is it? Was it like gluttony? What's bad deeds? And then tempers boil over. And we start at the end. So we start with them showing the trailer for the entire reunion. And they started with like 9:47 p.m. And this is what I told you guys 2 weeks ago. So we're going to do this real quick. Sirens wailing. And Kyle's like, I'm really not okay right now. I don't want to sit here for a toast. Can I leave? And Andy's like, Doug, what do we do here, Doug? Kyle's a wreck. And I'm like, dude, you know, you're the boss, Doug. There's probably no Doug. There's probably like, he's just like, Ricky, Bobby, Mikey, what do we do? Sorry, Kyle, you got to stay here. Like, you know, Andy, just let her go. Let her go if she doesn't want to be there. Rewind to 23 minutes earlier. I loved how they did this preview. It was very memento. Kyle's like, I need to end up in a better place here with her than when she came. And that's Kathy Hilton. Rewind to 1 hour earlier. Garcelle's like, you're going to hurt her. And she's the one that's your friend. And Rinna, you can just see her shadowy. I know. Then rewind to 2 hours earlier. And Rinna goes, I don't need any drama. Rinna, listen, may I call you Toots? Don't like when you say shit like that and you're already fake as fuck, it doesn't help your case. Like, I don't need any drama. Like, then what have you what are we doing here? You obviously need the drama and you obviously think you bring the drama. Don't all of a sudden go, I don't know. What did I do? I didn't do anything. She's the person that like pulled the chair out from people like they were going to sit in elementary school. And she'd be like, I didn't do it. Kathy's like, you fight with everybody. And Rinna's like, you know what, Kathy? And Kathy's like, what you did to my sister? And you drove Lisa Vanderpump off the show. I mean, the list can go on and on. Finally, somebody brings up that Kim Richards was like fucking fucked by Lisa. And then Lisa Vanderpump was driven off the show. Then rewind to 10:53 a.m. I love this. Like, I like it as a device for a trailer, but at the same time, I'm like, you could just like show us the scenes in order and then we'd be really excited towards the end. You know what I'm saying? Like it's cute. Producer says, light them up, guys, and show them the way through. And Kyle's like, oh my God, we're at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And that's what the reunion is set like, the famous hotel. And Andy narrates, tonight, the 3-part Beverly Hills reunion begins. Wait, you guys, did they say 3-part on the first night or did they add the 3-part after the second part? I think I'm basically losing my mind. The previews, I'm not going to go through the previews. Let's save some time there. because we're going to hit all of those scenes. But let's just say there's a lot of stuff. So the women are arriving as they do at the reunion location. Now, this is shot in Los Angeles, right? And Erica and her glam squad, Mikey and Leia, and probably like some guy from the street, they pull up at 5:52 a.m. and get shown to their dressing room. It's like, oh, I'm tired. I didn't sleep well. Because I was getting dick. I was getting dicked down all night. I was making love. 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Get dick, 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 dick. Oh, yeah, good time. You guys, like I said, I will be doing detours, and we're going to have a detour right now because it was funny. I was in Watch What Happens Live at 10 p.m. on Sunday night, the last night. I got in, like, you know, I kind of snuck in, and I got in. It was great. Awesome. Everybody was so, all the Bravo Watch What Happens Live staff are so fucking cool. I was just like a geek and a kid in a candy store, but Erica Jane was one of the guests, and she was wearing her hair like, what's that thing when you stick your finger in a light socket and it just goes, that was her hair. And it was really just exciting to be in her presence. Also a little smelly. I think there was a smell in the room. I was kind of, I can sense pheromones, and I think that was coming directly from Erica Jane, allegedly. And so she was asked a question of, who do you think the next couple will be that will break up on Beverly Hills? And she's standing in this oversized jean jacket and these kind of like fur white boots, and her hair is in like this JoJo, like D-level JoJo Siwa. JoJo Siwa fell asleep and then woke up 30 years later with, you know, the same hairstyle. And this is the audio that I took. Okay, so she said PK and Dorit, and everybody goes crazy that they'll be the next couple to break up. And that's me filming. And then you hear me go, boo. And then you go, oh man, good job. And so I posted this, and it got picked up by Us Weekly and a couple of other accounts. I love when people don't check my account, but then they message me with stuff that I actually did. They're like, dude, you're going, like, you're going to like, not, you're going to, this is going to blow your mind. Fucking somebody goes, oh man, good job, during Erica Jane's thing, and it's on video. Somebody that listens to your podcast. And I was like, yeah, that was me. I was filming that. I was filming that. That was me. I would love if, you know, people in unison was like, oh, but no, sadly, it was just me having the time of my GD life. So, and that was a little detour. Also, I told the audience earlier this week, but I really do think a lot of people just listen on Fridays. I shared space with Erica Jane Sunday night back at the hotel. She was signing autographs, and she walked in, and I was walking in behind her, and there was only 3 elevators, and she took, and I was like, it had been such a good experience, except for losing my bag, which is still lost, with my microphones and my wallet. And that was very sad, and we're getting over it, and blessed be to God. And I believe people are good. So hopefully it'll make its way back to me. But that was a lot of money. And I just like, life is too short. I don't need to get in an elevator with Erica Jane. Like, there's no way she would know who I was, but like, I just, you know, what's she like? I'm like, hey, what are you doing? You got a dick? Yeah, what are you doing? Guys, wouldn't it's just us here, so we can be like dirty and creepy. Wouldn't it be hysterical if if I did go to Erica Jane's room, and then this week I'm like, you know what? She's actually not that bad. I was rewatching the season, and it was like, I feel like we misunderstood her, because there's like a sweetheart in there. And I gotta say, she is kind of sexy. And I like Mikey too. He seems like a real go-getter. Like, all of those guys, I feel like I've really misjudged. And I hope you guys will go with me in celebrating Miss Angeline. But that didn't happen. I didn't take the elevator. Okay. So Garcelle arrives at 6:04 a.m. Crystal arrives at 6:20 and is escorted to her dressing room. Garcelle's like, I'm burning sage for good energy. And she blows it all over Crystal and they laugh. Dorit's arriving. Am I the last? And the assistant's like, no, you're not. And Kyle's like, hi, Dorit. And Dorit's like, someone said hi. Beep, boop, bop, beep, boop, boop. Kyle's like, me. And Dorit goes, nice to see you, stranger. Beep, boop, bop, beep, boop, boop, boop. This fucking reunion also sucks because Phoenix and Jagger, Dorit's kids, have not been a part of it. And have we just tossed off house husbands on shows except for like they'll bring them out for Atlanta, they bring them out for Potomac, they bring them, but like now Beverly Hills, we don't get a fucking, like, are they scared of having Asher come out and be like, "Ooh, it was a good season, hoo hoo," you know, like what are we scared of? And by the way, Diana, and hello to Diana's lawyers listening. I guess she was suffering from COVID, but she was fully glammed in makeup from Hawaii. And she looked good, sounded good, better than I did when I had COVID all those times. So, and she pretty much got like kind of a glorified cameo, like so much so that I was like, wait a sec, was she a full-time housewife? Like you keep having to remind yourself that she was not, you're like, oh, was she a friend of? And you're like, no, she's a full-blown housewife. So what I'm telling you guys is that something happened. Something happened with Diana Jenkins where they limited her role. And I don't have, listen, I'm not going by any fact, but it just, doesn't it feel bizarrely weird? And also that she got dressed up, all of that, and got up and did all of that, and then was only used for 2 segments, and that's it. Like she didn't even get to be like, I thought it was a very good season. I had good times at the vacation spot and Christmas party when Asher goes, oh, and we sing and we laugh, we love. Like we didn't get anything from, like, nothing humanizing. It was all just kind of intensity of like, I have hired people to find robots. The robots will be found. You know, we're still allowed to do voices in this country, right? Like we're still allowed, like that's still, we're legally allowed to imitate people. Or is that off the table now? I'm sure I'll find out soon enough. So Garcelle goes, do you want a piece of bacon, to Sutton? And Sutton's like, well, I'm not even on vacation. I'll say, and she takes it and she eats it. And I'm like, damn it, girl, I'm going to sweat all over you one day. And then Erica getting a bedazzled barrette put in her hair. It's like, ow, I'm having a breakdown. And her stylist is like, how are you feeling today? Fuck off. Because I guess getting glammed can hurt. And that's why I always suggest when you don't have the money, don't do the glam, right? Just like, it's like, if you don't want to do the time, don't do the crime. Right, Jen? Right? Okay. So a producer walks Andy onto the set, and this man, listen, Andy does get a lot of shit. And I was even reading on my comments today of like, I don't know what makes the final edit, what makes the cutting room floor. And I do think sometimes with the Beverly Hills lady, listen, think about this in your real life. We have relationships at work, right? And the longer you work with somebody, the easier you are on them, or the more attuned you are to them. And yeah, he is the ringleader. And so I do think he does. I mean, listen, I'm not like, it makes me sound like an asshole to say he does fairly good. It does great. But yeah, of course it's not perfect. And of course I want follow up on all of these questions. And of course I want him to stick it to Rinna. And there are things that don't make sense. But the man, you're going to argue with me, but the man is a smart man. Like he got us to this point. I saw that dude at BravoCon many times. I was front row at his Ask Andy, and I was just sitting there like a goofy fucking choir boy, just smiling, like just wishing I'm telling you, dude, I'm not even gay. And I was like, I want him to like, I want Andy to like me so bad. I couldn't even say hi to him at the party. I was just like, I already sweated over Sutton today. Let's not make it 2 for 2. Like, could you imagine that? I just like shake his hand and it's just dripping. And then anyway, so Andy's like, welcome to the stage. And Andy sits in the host chair, and Rinna, he's like, oh, hey, Rinna. And she's like, hi. And Andy's like, she's got a manila envelope. And I'm like, there we go. And Rinna's like, shit, yeah, of course I do. And Andy's like, wow. Rinna stashes her receipts behind the pillow where she's sitting on the sofa. Wouldn't it be great? Like if I wish like I could just run in, like she stuffs it behind there, and then you just see a hand over the sofa during the shoot where I'm like taking the manila bag and just running with it. And she's like, where are my receipts? The receipts probably are nothing. It's probably just like, hey, it's like Harry's Bolognese recipe or something. So Kyle and Crystal stroll in, and Kyle's like, we're at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And Rinna's like, hey, ladies. And Andy's like, Garcelle, are you on Raya yet? Which is the dating app. And Garcelle's like, no. And Andy goes, I joined. Andy was talking to these two dudes at the party that I was at with them, two cute guys. And I told the Patreon this. He has the tiniest arms. And I remember just thinking in that moment of like, I could never get my arms that tiny. And I was like, I'll never be able to do what he does because I can't get my arms that tiny. Those are the kind of thoughts that I actually have. And I get to share that with you guys. Erica goes, did you get a reduction, Kyle? And Kyle's like, I got a reduction. Yeah. And I'm like, wait, what? Crystal's like, it looks so good. And Kyle's like, I'm so happy. I did not need double D's. Damn it. This just pissed me off right from the get-go. You know me. I am anti-boob reduction. Like, come on, Kyle. Listen, I don't want to be gross and all that, but I like boobs and I hope that's okay to say. I mean, I like non-boobs too. I like, but like, I just got bummed immediately. And I was like, oh, great. Like, did we even ask Mauricio? Like, what's the conversation there? And like, are we set? Like, I mean, will we go back? Like, will we add some later? I know it's a personal decision for every woman, and that's why women should be able to make personal decisions for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Healthcare. Okay. So Kyle's like, I'm so happy. And producer's like, oh, here we go, guys. Small tit Kyle, sit down. No, here we go, guys. We're up and running. Welcome to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 12 reunion. I'm Andy Cohen, joined by the exquisite women of Beverly Hills. And let me start by saying this is the chicest reunion I've ever seen. And everybody's laughing. And Dorit's like, hee, that was my line. I said chic. And Andy's like, as you can see by the empty spot on the sofa, we are missing one pussy. I'm joking, housewife. Diana is not feeling well. She's got the shits. And we hope to be checking in with her from a toilet later on in the show. Hello, Sutton. Well, hello, Andy. You look beautiful. Well, I'll say thank you. Dolce, not Dolce, Peter Dundas. And by the way, is Peter Dundas like Old Navy? Is there a Peter Dundas empire like of stores like Peter Dundas, Peter Dundee? Okay, so Andy goes, oh, right. Okay. Hi, Garcelle. Hi, Andy. You're all in black. This is about as dominatrix as we've gotten from you. And Garcelle's like, I think so. Is that your mood tonight? That's my mood, Andy. And I also just wanted to switch it up. Hi, Kyle. Hi, Andy. You look very small-breasted, and Ryan hates it. Wow, I took you all this time to go blonde, because I guess she has like blonde highlights. And Kyle's like, yep, here I am. And Andy goes, hi, Crystal, great to see you. And Crystal's like, I'm Crystal. And Crystal goes, you too, how are you? And Andy's like, good. Okay, hi, Dorit. Hi, Andrew. You always give us dramatic hair at a reunion. Yes, I like to. Beep, boop, bop, boop, boop, boop. We get a quick montage of the 5 other reunion show hair looks. Andy says, speaking of drama, speaking of orphans and widows, hi, Erica. Hey there. How would you describe your look tonight? When in doubt, go as Ginger in Casino, which is the part that Sharon Stone played in the movie Casino, directed by Martin Scorsese with Robert De Niro. That Sharon Stone was, I think, just nominated for an Academy Award. But it's one of those things like, oh, Ginger, what a great mood board you created. And he goes, there you go. Be sparkling. And last but not least, hey, devil. Hey, Andy. How are you? I feel good. The camera flashes to her hands to show every single finger on her hand. They're endowed with diamond rings in various sizes and shapes and diamonds. I could only assume all blood diamonds, allegedly. Some fingers are graced with double rings. It's like Johnny Depp when he goes out. It's like Lenny Kravitz. They're just like putting on just rings after rings and necklaces. It's a lot. And Rinna's like, and this is, listen, anytime Rinna talks about her mom, hands off on that. There's no jokes. And she's like, I've got little Lois with me. And she holds up a little porcelain bird. Because remember, the bird represented Lois in Mexico. And, we're all sorry that she lost her mom. And Annie's like, wow, that's nice. And camera shows Kyle smirking and her eyes wide. And Renee goes, yeah. And Andy goes, all right. Well, this season when the ladies weren't killing each other, they were dying of laughter, one confusing charity at a time. And then we get to the montage of the, toothless, like Kathy's like, the Toothless and Homeless Foundation. And Kyle's like, not toothless, not homeless. Crystal's like, don't laugh. Dorit's like, this is a really important charity, Kathy. Homeless, not toothless. They do amazing work. And Jamie Lee Curtis is like, they have a wind chime. And Dorit goes, Oh, a wind chime. And that is the chicest wind chime I have ever seen. And Jamie Lee hiding the laughs like, oh, thank you, darling. A lavender candle. It's so chic. A hat. So chic. Kyle in a talking head says, at this point, Jamie Lee Curtis could show Dorit a dirty old tissue and she would say, it's so chic. Oh my God. Jamie Lee says, little snugglies, really very chic. And he says, the Daily Beast called the hilarious homeless, not toothless conversation at the disco party the best 8 minutes of TV this year. Do you all have the name straight now? He asked. And Garcelle's like, ooh. Everybody's like, yeah. And Eric's like, yeah. And he's like, let's all say it together. And they're all like, homeless, not toothless. And he says, okay, so Dorit, a matte black wind chime? And Dorit goes, I mean, that's a chic wind chime. Beep, boop, beep, boop, boop, boop. And wind chimes are not very chic. And Andy says, well, guess what? Jamie Lee Curtis is here. Let's bring her out. And Dorit goes, stop. And Erica's like, really? And Andy's like, just kidding. And then this is when Jamie Lee Curtis, and when I say stroll on the stage, I mean, like, she was like stroll, like she was like, like they're like, she was like, I'm a jazz singer. Like she was like jazz handing it or something. Like it was very elegant. And it was, I thought it was like almost like mime-like. I was like, oh, where are we here? And the ladies are like, oh, like freaking out. It's like when Oprah did that gift thing of like, you get a car, you get a car. Like people were just losing their damn minds over Jamie Lee Curtis. And Jamie's like, hi, girls. And and Andy's like, I'm Andy, have a seat, join us, because they had never met. And Rinna's like, oh my God, a real working actor. What's that like? And Andy's like, have a seat, welcome, welcome. And Andy says, I feel like you're an honorary housewife this season. And Jamie said, I'm very honored to be so. I had the unexpected best time that I had ever had. And the result was unexpected. And Andy's like, well, what was the result? And Jamie's like, well, I've been made fun of now for the last couple of months. And my charity has been, no, Jamie goes, I had no idea the impact of your show. My appearance was the single biggest day of the history of my charity. And we get the Jamie talking about the myhandandyours.com, which is there. They have renamed the charity the Chicest Children's Charity, CHCHCH. So they have changed it. And by the way, you've got to check out Dorit's face of like, oh, finally, my brilliance is known. Of course, Dorit's room at Buca de Beppo was just a warm-up. But this wind chime, I've got my hand in the things of art. I create this mind. I just can't help it. I mean, I thought chic and then I said chic and now look at this. A whole chitty chitty bang bang. And Jamie Lee's like, I have renamed it the Dorit Chic Wind Chime. And I'll tell you something, your genuine enthusiasm changed my company. And Dorit's like smiling, I can't wait till like PK calls Jamie Lee a month later, like, hey, where's my 15% cut of the profits? Hey, you're going to name after my wife. Fuck those people. We want our cut, okay? We're going to Puta Mita. I'm John Jansen. Did you guys see that I did take a picture with John Jansen, Shannon Bedore's husband? No, not husband, sorry, boyfriend. And he seemed utterly confused why I wanted a picture, which was just kind of like awesome. And then Shannon walked out afterwards and I got a picture with Shannon. And the only thing I could think to say was like, I use your postage company. It does those postage commercials. I was like, I use your postage company. I use it to mail. I don't even know how to mail things, you guys. I just wanted to make her feel good, So we see 2 carts being rolled out. And remember, you guys, the Halloween Kills movie came out that week. So this is also a promotion for that movie. And also, it's really disconcerting throughout these episodes. In the top right-hand corner, you see Jamie Lee and Michael Myers, and it's still not as scary as what's actually on the screen at the reunion. It's like, that's not that scary compared to what's going on down there. So anyways, Jamie Lee brings out custom carved pumpkin of each women of their likeness. And like, listen, we're coming up on Halloween this week, folks. If you go to a house with your child, and you see a pumpkin carved with a Lisa Rinna or an Erica Jane face, there's going to be razor blades in those candies, and I need you to check that candy, okay? Or as my dad did, you know, when you'd come back with the candy and you have your bag or your pillow full of candy, you know, the pillowcase. Yeah, he'd be like, "Let me taste that one and see if it's poisonous." And I'd be like, "Dude, the Three Musketeer bar is not poisonous. What are you doing?" And then sometimes I was like, "I wish it was fucking poison because that's my fucking candy bar. You didn't walk up fucking down the street for that." But I didn't know cursing at that time like I do now. So everybody's oohing and awing, like, and carved pumpkins. I was like, I could give a rip about these parts. You know, anyways, but Jamie Lee Curtis. And then they talk about, well, Halloween. What's that like? You know, so bizarre, you guys. The cross promotion between these NPC. What do they do? Minions, and they do Jurassic World. And you're just like, okay, man. Like, yeah, well, I'd rather just go see the movie. I wish there was that button on your TV where you could opt out of seeing the cross promotion if you promise you'll go see the movie. I'm like, fine, I'll fucking watch it. Just don't show me any of the shit. I don't want to see it. And it was like, Kyle, what was it like working with Jamie? I don't give a rip. And I don't know why I keep saying give a rip lately. It's not even like an homage to Mama D from Dallas, even though I think she's amazing. But I'm turning into an old lady and an old man combined. Like, I have the vernacular. It's like literally like I'm bursting out Werther's Originals and having people sit on my lap and think about the good old days. So Kyle says, you know, we're close friends, me and Jamie, blah, blah, blah. They show some pictures. Movie's coming out October 14th. It's also on Peacock. There you go. There's your plug. And Andy goes, you know what I love about your appearance in the show? You stepped into this thinking, what is this show and what is this thing? And Jamie's like, when I showed up, the first person I said hello to was a camera person. And Kyle's laughing. She kept talking to the lens. And they show the clip of Jamie Lee going, I know I'm not supposed to talk to you, but guess what? I'm going to break every rule that's ever been on this show. And you could tell it's the first time a crew member has ever been talked to on this show. It's like, Lisa always says to not even make eye contact. Why is Jamie Lee Curtis wishing us hello? Jamie Lee snapping her fingers. She's like, snap, snap, snap. For all the technical people who make this fabulous show fabulous, because you're unseen, but you're not. And Rinna's like, yeah, snap, snap, snap. And Rinna, he's like, yeah, I love him the most. And he's like, Jamie, thank you for coming today and surprising us. Come back to Beverly Hills anytime you want. I mean, is this setting up for a Jamie Lee Curtis? Wouldn't that be sort of amazing? This is probably like the worst part of the season when we're about to end it and we start talking about who's coming back, what the rumors are, all that bullshit. Is Camille coming back? Is Denise coming back? And it looks like Denise Richards has a fair shot at coming back. And if that happens, I think then Rinna will come back. This week, though, hearing Andy talk and seeing Rinna and the reaction, I was like, I don't think it just seems like there's bad juju. And I heard a couple of things behind the scenes. But then if they're going to bring Denise Richards back, I think they would have to bring Lisa back because, and don't hate me for this, I want to see Aaron, her husband, and all his glory about 5G and cults and all that shit. But I don't know if Denise has what it takes. And I'm not trying to, like, Denise has made her impact on movies so much. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a realist. Like, Freddie Mellencamp sucks, which, by the way, did you guys hear all my Freddie Mellencamp stories from BravoCon? She was everywhere. It turns out she's not even on the show. I mean, she thinks she's a reporter. Like, she's a really bad reporter. And she acts like it's wild. And the thing is, the other celebrities and housewives just think she's a housewife because, like, why else would you be hanging out with us? You know, it's like that, or you're a podcaster, wink, wink. And it was just really weird. And it was like sad in a way. And yes, Freddie, but Tamara, listen, Tamara has her own shtick and she brings it. I don't know. I think Tamara's got about 2 years more of anybody ever telling her anything ever again, because she just is too, I mean, she will literally start conversations with you. Listen, I'm no Kelly Dodd fan, but she obviously talked to Kelly Dodd a lot. And the panel totally ripped Kelly Dodd and goes, you know what? I haven't really talked to her in a long time. And Kelly Dodd allegedly published all of the texts of like, we just talked the other day and you're fucking Republican and you're this and that. And listen, there's only so many times that's going to work. And Tamara's just happy to have, Tamara needs this gig, right? Some of those ladies don't need the gig. Tamara needs the gig. So Tamara's going to go over and above, but there's just no need for Freddie unless, listen, never say never. It would be funny because it would get everybody so angry. And then it would also be kind of funny because, you know, she would have to try to prove herself. and it would be ridiculous. It would just be like, oh shit, Freddie's trying again. And she still has never answered for her fucking stupid diet program. So whatever. Okay, so Jamie Lee leaves and Dorit goes, oh, that was so great. Can we go home now? Beep, boop, bop, bop, bop. And Andy's like, can I ask a dumb question? And Eric goes, when don't you? And Andy's like, oh. And it was kind of nice because Andy was like, oh, okay. Yeah, let me ask you a question. Erica, what about EJ Global when they funneled that money through? I know you say you don't know anything about it, but it actually did go through your account and we actually have proof that you spent. Like, I would love for Annie after that comment to have hit her with such a hard financial question that she knows about. Like, what about the diamond earrings? I know you're trying to get them back. Why are you doing that? Like, hit her with it right there. And Erica's like, I'm just a little bitter. And Andy goes, and we're just getting started. And he goes, I want to talk about something serious that happened recently. Garcelle, your son Jax, who is 14 and unfortunately is named after Jax from Vanderpump Rules, was attacked on Instagram, and the comments were racist and unsettling to say the least. Tell us what's been going on there and how's he doing? We had the reality blurb flash headline, online harassment of Garcelle Bouvet's son Jax, an orchestrated attack. Read his statement after troll goes too far with racist comment. And Garcelle tells us, and this is a trigger warning because this is intense. She said it was the most cruel thing that anybody could do to a child. I mean, it was really cruel. It was his first week of high school. And, my Playboy pictures were sent to him by the trolls. Listen, it's cool if people sending each other Playboy pictures, but like, don't do it of somebody's mom, like if I got a Playboy picture of my mom, I would be like, oh man, like maybe high school isn't for me. Like maybe I just don't go to high school these next 4 years. Garcelle's like, it hurt a lot. And Annie's like, yeah. And Garcelle's like, it hurt a lot. The one that really affected us all was the one that said, if it weren't for your white daddy, you would have a knee on your neck. And they show a copy of that text. And it says, tell your mom to leave Diana alone or you'll deal with us. Who the fuck is us? And Garcelle's like, I'm trying to hold it together. And Andy's like, yeah. And Garcelle's like, yeah, it's really hard. And Andy goes, Rinna was one of the first people to condemn the online attack towards, by the way, it's always, isn't it funny? Always sometimes you have that thought or that thought pops to mind of like, the smeller's the feller, like the first one to raise their hand did it. Kind of like, listen, she's the one the first to condemn the attack, and Rinna's post on her Instagram, like, we're doing a TV show. We try to entertain you. Why can't you treat it like wrestling, for God's sakes? Love us, love to hate us, but leave the kids alone. What I was just said about Garcelle's son is disgusting and unacceptable. What I hear happened to Portia, Kyle Richards' daughter, is disgusting and unacceptable. What you said and done to my own kids is disgusting. The threats to the pretty mess Erica's son, isn't the pretty messes Erica's son like in his like late 30s? Anyways, and he goes, and I'm sure all of the other beautiful children of the world, they didn't sign up for this. What are you doing? The kids, all of our kids should be off limits, so stop it now. Enough is enough. And Renna's like, I thought it was the most disgusting, unacceptable, horrific thing. I was like, that's okay. And then he's like, the amount of trauma that has come out of social media for everybody here is so heavy and it sucks. And they show another post. Hey, at the pretty mess, feeling scared yet? The further the season gets, the more you should be worried about being in public. Talk about a marked woman. Another tweet, cannot stand this beast, at Lisa Rinna, get her. And another, at Portia Umansky, how does it feel having a mean bully as a mom and that horrible guy you call dad? That doesn't even make fucking sense. Like, you could be like a stoner as a dad. I don't know, like a successful stoner. Like that one's stupid. Whoever wrote that one's stupid. And Rinna's like, it really does. And Erica's like, it's hard. I don't like death threats. And Rinna's like, I don't either. Don't threaten our lives. And Andy says, when you look at the comments and clicked on the people, there are a lot of bots. Those are not real people. So someone must have been behind it. Now, they show a page of comments from Jax's Instagram, and it's like all this stuff of like, Garcelle, worry about the real being canceled and leave Erica alone. Garcelle, have you checked Oliver's drug intake yet? Remember, her one son was a drug addict or rehabbed. He's been to rehab and seems like he's doing well, except he's making out with a lot of people from Vanderpump Paris. One commented, can you please stop critiquing and belittling Diana with her grammar? Your whole family are immigrants. One, if Oliver gets back to using drugs, will Garcelle feel guilty for calling Erica alcoholic and making her look bad? And then Jack's writing back, I'm a fucking 14-year-old. Leave me alone, please. And Garcelle says, absolutely. Someone must have been behind it. And he goes, do you think it was someone in this group? And Garcelle goes, if I'm going to be honest, I did. Absolutely. And this is where I'm saying the power and the stillness. I've been saying this all day about Garcelle is just so amazing. She just, speaks. You know how I bop around when I do this, and it means like I'm trying to make jokes, but I'm also insecure. It's called like status. We call it in acting class a lot. It's like status. Like, if you're watching the YouTube, like status right here, you're laying back. This is like, hey, I'm a big guy. How you doing, man? I got status. But if I lean forward like this, it means I'm insecure, right? And if I'm bopping around like this, it just means I'm like, oh my God, I'm nervous. Oh, da, 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 da. And Garcelle is just still. And there's such power in stillness. And I didn't understand that when I was younger in acting class. Because I was like, I want to move. I want to like use my hands to say the lines. And so then I podcasted. But she's just still and she just speaks. And it holds such weight. There's such gravitas behind Garcelle. And that's when Rinna's like, it's just like a Muppet. And you're just like, holy hell, man, you do not scare me at all. It just like weirds me out. And so Garcelle says, I think somebody in this group did it. I don't know if for a fact they would have said that, but in purchasing the bots, it felt to me that it was a pattern of attacking my children. So for me, it felt like I wasn't wanted on this show. So this is a way to get me out, because if you attack my children, most likely I'll leave. And Garcelle's like, that's why I felt that way. And Andy goes, right. Garcelle says, but I do have an investigation going on. And Andy says, well, I'm not alone in saying how appalled I am at what's been happening on social media. You can love our cast and you can love to hate our cast if you want, but only in the spirit of entertainment. It's a TV show, everybody. There's no room for this kind of hate. And Bravo unequivocally condemns it. Like, this was the quote. They're like, we will use this in future court cases. I love what Andy said, but also, this is the one thing I was like, what a failure too, is also to point out that the cast is also responsible. There is responsible use of the media, especially when you're getting paid. All of us aren't getting paid to watch these shows. I get paid like probably minimum wage for the amount of time I get put into this, but the rest of these ladies get paid handsomely. So there is a responsibility when you are actually dealing with people. And there is a lot of hate out there. Yes. Have you been on Twitter? It's hate.com. Like it even shocked, so it shocks me. I even fall into that pattern sometimes. And you have to remind yourself, yeah, it is just a show, but it is, because you're like, dude, the hate, the calls coming from inside the house, you guys, like, fucking Rinna is one of the most hateful people I've ever seen on TV. And she spreads that hate right on over there to social media as well. Same with Erica Jane. I mean, it's like, listen, Andy should have turned to go, and you too, Rinna, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you as well right now. Don't scold just the audience. Like, why are we getting a slap on the hand? Slap Lisa on the hand. Lisa stirred up more shit this season than she has any other previous season, and it got dark. And I tell you what, and I've been telling you guys this for many, many weeks on this show, is that she deals with Bravo Instagram accounts, and you can tell which ones they are. And I think it's going to be proven eventually. So just watch out. I think she did some real shady shit. I'm not saying the bots, but I'm saying she was heavily involved with trying to get a message out. And it's kind of gross. And it also, like, the Instagram accounts that did it, it's like, yeah, you guys, you're probably not listening to this, but if you are, it's cool to have Bravo Labs talk to you and all that shit. It's cool to all of a sudden be in a midnight conversation with Lisa Rinna, but like, stop there and think about it. Like, go, wow, this is weird. Why are they talking to me on Instagram? I'm in fucking Boise, wherever the fuck these people, like, it's cool for a minute, but then I also go like, oh shit, that's a real person with a real job. And they're trying to give me information. Why are they giving me information? They want me to put it out. Why do they want me to put it out? Like, it's a pawn like anything else. And I'm just telling you, it's not as exciting. You know what's exciting? Probably sleeping with that Leonardo DiCaprio. That's probably something to brag about. Like, go for shit like that. Go for good stories. What are you going to like tell your kids? Like, one day Lisa Rinna DM'd me and they talked about it on the show. It's like, okay, cool. Like who? The lip lady? Okay, I got it. Kyle's like, thank you for saying that. And we're just like, thank you for saying that. But you tell she's actually like, is she about to say me? Yeah. And Garcelle's like, yeah, thanks. And he says, let's talk about something else. For an instant, Dorit's life was turned upside down at a terrifying home invasion. And so we talk about the home invasion, you guys, and it was really like it just started so heavy. And it was like Dorit retelling the story of like, get down on the fucking ground or I'm going to fucking kill you. And I'm begging for my children's life. And she got through it. And we see the scene with BK coming back and like, I'm looking for my phone. And she's like, find your phone, find your phone. And there's a camera guy in the car and a camera guy like in front of her and a camera guy. And I'm just like, this is so weird. Like, I remember thinking this and saying it on the recap when we first did this episode. It was like, why doesn't PK have one of the crew go in and get the phone? Like, and just stay with your wife if she's this shooken up. Like, don't go into the house, man. She did like, I guess she's safe with 3 cameramen on her, like filming her. But it was always stuck me as a weird moment. Andy says, hard to relive all that. Yes, it is. How has your life changed since all this happened? And she just talks about trauma. It's touched all of her life. She's had issues, her marriage, she goes, I have a wonderful marriage, but it did something to my confidence as a mom. You feel depleted. It's hard to get out of bed some days. I mean, you're grieving the loss of who you were before this. And Andy says, you had such a big reaction to this. Why? I'm like, wait a sec. You had such a big reaction to having a gun held to your head. She's like, I'm sorry. He's talking to Kyle, and Kyle's like, I'm very close to Dorit and PK and the babies, and we're right around the corner. I can walk to Dorit's house. I hate when they give out personal information like this because I feel like the burglars are like, wait a sec, Kyle lives in that area. Let's get her next. So to think that Mauricio and I were sleeping and she was just home going through all this, it was just very upsetting to me. And then he's like, I'm impressed that you were able to keep your cool. Where do you think that come from? And Dorit's like, in that moment, my mama bear instinct kicked in and it was a mama instinct. And I, mama. I just thought if I made them feel like I could help them and I wasn't a threat, that I could save my babies. And that's all I wanted to do. And it worked. And it worked. Incredible. I know you've got a lot of support, but there were also naysayers. And we bring up the article of like Dorit Kemsley faked robbery, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, who leaves their cell phones near the gate that you could call the cops. Sarah V on Twitter shared the theory that PK orchestrated the robbery for an insurance scam. And Dorit's like, I'm struggling with trying to get out of bed in the morning. Bee-boo, Bobby. Me too, by the way. This isn't something that you can orchestrate. I know what I've been through. I was very lucky. Very, very, very lucky. There's not a single day that goes by and I don't remind. And Andy's like, why do you think they let you have your phone back? And Dorit's like, because I out-talked them. I talked their ears off. I just talked to them nonstop. And they were like, please, we'll leave. Stop talking. But she was like, I was very calm. And she was like, I was very calm. And I just said, please leave my phone. He left it at the gate. Thank God he did. So she could call her husband. And Andy's like, any leads catching these guys? Dude, but I have like, my room has a really big screen TV and like you can see the face like decently clear. Like it is wild. Like it's pretty decent video. So hopefully they can catch them sometimes. And he goes, have you replaced any of the stolen items? And Dorit goes, I would never do a repeat purchase, but come on, please. And everybody laughs. But I will say sometimes I have gotten the same like sharp button-up shirt from Old Navy back in the old days, and I'm like, this is a keeper. You got to get 2 of these like this, because this is going to get a lot of wear and you got to buy one, because I'm going to spill ketchup or something on it. But it's very Dorit to not want to repurchase items. And I'm like, what? Okay. Kyle's like, yeah, that stuff is from last season. And Dorit goes, obviously directly after I didn't have the desire. And Andy stifles a yawn. And Dorit's like, am I boring you? And Dorit's like, no. And he's like, no, I'm sorry. And Dorit's like, are you kidding me? I'm sorry. I'm a yawner. 2 years in a row. And they flash back to last year's reunion when Andy yawned. And Dorit's like, am I boring you? So Dorit goes, this topic is a lot harder for me than it is for you, Andy. And Andy's like, no, I get it. But I fucking do this for a living. And you guys, all you ladies, it's hard to take. Please continue. And Dorit pauses and goes, I take day by day, There are the days that I'm really great. And all of a sudden I have really bad days. And I'm navigating through this. And he goes, you still have PTSD. And he goes, I have diagnosed PTSD. You fuckers over there that you did not get a shot of Rinna, who also has PTSD from Kathy Hilton. And I'm assuming it's diagnosed as well. How dare you not get a Rinna reaction shot? Come on. What are we doing? Is this amateur hour over there? The PTSD line, you fucking get a Rinna reaction because she made up having PTSD about Kathy. Now, Dorit, I believe she had PTSD. Kyle then tells this wild story where it goes, do you guys know that recently we were reached out to by the person who burglarized us? And he said he had my things. And everybody's like, no. And Kyle's like, yeah, he reached out to my sister-in-law and said,
I was the person that burglarized your home. I was put in jail, and all your items are at my grandma's house.
and then he was sending me pictures of the things, and we sent him some of the money. And he said, well, I feel like you got,
I mean, like, you guys are calling the police. And we're like, I don't care.
sorry. He's like, I don't care about the police. I just want my stuff. And Erica's like,
You sent him money.
but Erica's kind of also like, wow, that's what you sent him money. All he had to do was like steal stuff and you sent him money. Okay. Note taken. Kyle's like, not a lot. And Erica's like,
Why would you send him money? I wouldn't send a fucking dime. He's a fucking criminal.
so hysterical. So unintentionally hysterical. I wouldn't send a fucking dime. First off, you probably don't have a fucking dime. Second off, he's a fucking criminal, kind of like you're accused and your husband's definitely a fucking criminal, right? So it's hysterical. Like to me, it was just like, Erica, why don't you sit back on this one? And Kyle's like, isn't that crazy?
No, that's called a shakedown.
Of course, Erica knew exactly what it's called. That's called a shakedown. It's like Erica's like,
No, that's called a 3 salute hand job. That's what that called.
and he's like, well, we're going to leave it there. We wish you continued recovery, Dorit. And Dorit's like, thank you. And then Andy's like, no, Andy goes, we'll be right back. We come back. Crystal's needs for safe spaces and speaking her truth left the woman at a loss for words. Will this generation gap ever be bridged? It's a question for the ages, literally. Let's watch. Garcelle enters Crystal's house and Crystal's bouncing up and down. She's in the baby doll dress. Everybody was so, what the fuck with the baby doll dress? Who fucking cares about a baby doll dress? It's a fucking dress. Like, put everybody in a baby doll dress. In fact, let's have a fucking theme for the reunion outfits. Everybody's in their own world on these outfits. That's me trying to act like I'm like know what I'm doing with fashion, just so because I know a lot of shows talk about it, and I don't because I don't know what I'm doing. But that was me trying. That was me trying to relate to a primarily female audience, knowing that I don't dress well. I have a creepy mustache, and I usually wear basketball shorts, and I wear basketball like a backwards hat. Cause I don't know fashion. I don't know how to dress, but I know that these women put on some sort of dress. So I think that is cool, but I don't know how to judge it. So we'll just say it's cool. We are having fun. Did you guys miss me last week? We showed Garcelle's birthday party, and this is my last year of my 30s, and everybody's like giving her death stares. And then Crystal at the La Quinta house at Kyle's, they're like, you said you changed the word to rude from violated. That's not how it felt. And Kyle's like, okay, I think that you felt violated was a little extreme when she brought a jacket to your room. I'm sorry. Yes, I did. And they're talking about, when Sutton brought that, I think it was last season, when Crystal was changing. Crystal's like, I'm very triggered by the whole thing. Kyle in a talking head says, Crystal is just so dramatic about everything. I don't know if she's just a millennial or whatever generation, but it seems like she always has something to complain about. I'm so tired of being like a millennial or like you always end up sounding like a goofball whenever we say like that you're just being so Gen X right now. Kyle's like, how are you doing? I saw what you posted on Instagram. These are all flashbacks, and Crystal letting us know I've been really struggling with my ED and body image. I believe I will be having somebody that worked with Crystal in terms of her eating disorder on the show next week. And I'm hoping to have a really serious, positive conversation about this, honestly, and not really even about Crystal because it is a very private thing, but just what it is and to try to help me understand it better. And listen, I believe at times in my life, I've had an eating disorder. Like where I'll binge, I might not purge, but I'll binge. And I'm just curious about a lot of the things that go with it. I think these are really important conversations to have. And if we're going to talk about a show like this and it's so going to be so messy, at least we can point out these little pieces of gold where they might help somebody, it might not be me or you, but it might help somebody. Right. We also get a shot at Diana's holiday party, and Erica's like,
what happens when you purge?
And Crystal's like, well, I just feel better. It's like a relief.
Yeah, I take laxatives. I'll shit it out, poop it all out. Yeah.
And Garcelle's like, wow. Crystal's like, I'm definitely seeing a pattern with some women in this group that my vulnerability is met with judgment. We see a thing of Rob being supportive of Crystal. If there's anything I can do for you. And Andy's like, lots to discuss. That's one of my favorite Andy lines. I like moving on, okay, well, let's put a pin in that. And a lot to unpack here, or lots to discuss. I want to start with Crystal. With your sharing on social media about your struggles with your eating disorder, why was it important for you to share that? And Crystal's like, I don't know. I just felt like it was important for me to say it out loud. Culturally, Asians are very quiet. We keep everything very close. I just feel like, how do I help people understand that eating disorders are, everyone has a different experience? And he's like, a non-girl 55. It still makes me laugh. Butthole Surfer 35 says, as someone who has suffered from bulimia for 2 decades, I can say our biggest fear is that someone will walk in on us when we're binging and or purging. Is that what you experienced in Tahoe when Sutton walked in on you last season? We get a flashback to Tahoe in 2020, Sutton entering Crystal's room of like, I don't know what's going on in here, but I want to bring you your coat. And Crystal's like, I was just putting my PJs on. And Sutton's like, uh-huh. And Crystal's like, thank you. And Crystal's like, no, that wasn't actually the situation. But I felt like it attached to my body dysmorphia when she came in. But it wasn't that situation. And he's like, because you were not clothed and you feel very badly and ashamed about. And Crystal's like, yeah, I mean, it's just all attached to it. Alexa from Pennsylvania said, Kyle, why is it okay to bring up your eating disorder when Crystal was talking about hers, but it was wrong for Sutton to bring up her miscarriages to Diana? Isn't it the same thing? I love these listener questions because, or Twitter questions, because I think it's like staff writing them for most. Yeah, I mean, I know some of them are actually people. And some of them are wild, just how they compare this to that. So Kyle's like, yeah, well, listen, Kyle, she's not coasting. But she's kind of like, for all intents and purposes, the head of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, right? She's been there from day one. And I feel like sometimes she doesn't prepare to be asked questions. And so she's like, well, yeah, my behavior at Garcelle's party was terrible. We flash back to that evening. Kyle's like, so you're going to say that you lost 2 babies? And Son's like, I did. And Kyle's like, Diana lost a baby. You did not. Maybe years ago. I don't know. And Kyle's like, in that moment, after too much tequila, I was thinking, well, when someone's sharing something, she has to say she had that too. And because I drank too much, I said it wrong. And Andy says, Adam from New York said, Erica, why on earth would you tell someone with an eating disorder to take laxative?
No, I said, this is what I would do. I was empathizing with my poop. I thought I was empathizing, but then I found out, hey, you can't say that.
So here's an interesting point. We find out that Erica doesn't actually know what empathy is or how to empathize. And we've seen that so many times, just even with the victims of her husband. So, I love that when Erica thinks she's empathizing, it's literally like, did you shit it out? Like, because I asked the victims if they shat. Like, that's her example of like,
I care very much. I asked them if they shit.
And he's like, it's very unhealthy. It's a bad thing to do, basically. And Chris is like, that's how it was with someone I know very close to me. And Eric goes,
listen, I grew up in a dance studio. So, I mean,
oh, here we go. I'm a performer. I'm an entertainer. Chris is like, yeah, sure. So I know people that suffer. That's another form of eating disorder.
Sure. It was almost just coming from hey, if that was me, I would do it like this.
And he goes, well, you did follow it up by saying, don't eat the chicken nuggets. We get a flashback of that scene, and Eric's like,
well, that was a little bit later. Of course, my smart ass said she can't have the chicken tender. Yeah, I did it. It was the wrong thing to do.
Garcelle rolls her eyes in disbelief. And I was like, yeah, I did it. We need to just take that little piece of audio and just use it for every accusation.
Yeah, I did it. And I would have got away with it too. If it weren't for you damn Twitter followers.
And he's like, Amanda from Denver said, Crystal, how do you feel about Dorit sharing with the group that you throw up every day? Damn. And we go to that Rinna Rose party that Crystal was not at, where Dorit's like telling her, like, Crystal told me she's vomiting every day. And we're like, what? She said that? And she's like, and by the way, where is Cherie Zampino? Like, where the fuck are we? They're like, did people like not schedule their days right? Like, Cherie's like, I can't be there. I've got a dental cleaning and it's really hard to reschedule those. Like, it sometimes feels like they give up at the end of seasons, just on all shows. Sutton's like, well, she didn't tell me that. And Chris is like, okay, that was not okay. And Dorit goes, really? When I shared that information with you, that was private. I'm very particular how I speak about it. I tend not to be very graphic about it. It's very shameful. And when I saw that, it was unacceptable. It was not okay. And Crystal's tearing up. She's like, it felt very gossipy and it's so personal. And Dorit goes, Crystal, you were talking to the entire table about it, and it wasn't. And Crystal's like, yeah, but that's not. No, wait a second. And then still, I had never mentioned it after that. Never. Until it was brought to my attention, that you raised it with the group. Then I thought, okay, I'm not sharing something that is a secret. And Crystal goes, okay, well, I'm telling you now that when we speak privately, we can have a much clearer conversation of what's private and what can be shared. But that felt terrible. And Dorit goes, I'm truly, 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 truly sorry. And Crystal goes, yep. And Andy says, I'm going to turn to the dark comments that Sutton supposedly made last year. Crystal, Erica seemed to pinpoint the issue. You were implying Sutton made racist comments, but refused to reveal what they were. We get a flashback to the Punta Mita dinner. And Dorit's like, do you think you exaggerated or made something up? And Crystal's like, I'm not making anything up. What I said was things were said that were hurtful about Sutton, you guys. And Erica's like,
When you don't say what it is, people are going to fill in the blanks.
and Rinna goes, oh, yes, they are. And Erica's like,
And it's going to be worse.
and Crystal's like, I need to give context to the experience, right? You know, this was the very first time I spoke to Sutton in my life. Knowing Sutton today, I wouldn't have had the same feeling or energy about the conversation. We would have had a different experience. And Andy's like, but when you brought it up a year later, you did know her. We get a flashback to La Quinta. And Garcelle says, when you and Sutton had your thing, I felt like no matter what she said, you were going to say, are you that girl? And Crystal's like says, there was a lot more said prior to that was very dark. And Crystal says it wasn't something specific. And Andy goes, it was not something specific. And Crystal goes, it was the overall conversation that made me feel in a certain way. And Andy goes, why not say it was not one thing? It was the general tone of the conversation that led me to feel badly. And Crystal goes, did you guys not feel the way from me that I was just, and everybody's like, no, it was specific. You said it was specific. So they're basically saying like, you know, Sutton said something specifically, or Crystal made it seem like Sutton said something specifically racist. And Kyle's like, you said Sutton said something very dark. I can't even say it. It's so bad. And then you doubled down on Watch What Happens Live. And Dorit's like, that's why it lasted so long. And Crystal's like, I will say the conversation today, if it was someone that I didn't know, I would still say the same words. I would still feel like this with heavy and dark, and it's not okay. And Erica's like,
but what's not okay?
What is it? What is it? Saying overall tone, Kyle says, to saying something so dark I can't repeat it are two completely different things. And Crystal says, I'm going to say it differently. It was the tone of the conversation. And Rinna goes, if you put that out there and you don't back it up. And Crystal's like, I'm telling you now, it's the tone of a conversation. Everybody, by the way, is like mumbling and all that shit, except for Sutton. She's just like sitting like, oh, shit. I'm weeks away from getting sweated on at BravoCon. I say. And Andy's like, okay, let me ask you a question that I want to hear what you have to say. And she says to Sutton, that when I asked you on Watch What Happens Live, was that the comment? You said to me, no, it was worse. And Krista says, no, I'm sorry. That was not the comment I was referring to. And Dorit's like, what was the comment? This is getting a little like, who's on first? Who's on first? What do you mean? I'm on first. Who's on first? Who's on second? Like, it just gets confusing. And like, I was even, by the third time I watched this, I was like, oh, fucking A, just fucking say fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, just, it was the fucking tone. Nothing specific was said. Just stop it. Let's move on. We've got bigger fish to fry. So anyways, Crystal's like, there was a lot more said prior to that was very, very dark. Let me assure you. And Garcelle's like, okay. And Kyle's like, you weren't telling the truth. La Quinta is what you're saying. And Crystal goes, no, this is my experience. You called my experience lying. And Garcelle goes, no, not your experience. What you said was that she said something dark. And Crystal goes, that's how I felt. And Garcelle goes, yeah, but it wasn't a feeling the way you said it. And Kyle goes, do you understand that you said it was specific? And Garcelle says, what you don't understand is I kept on saying to you, what did she say? Now, this is a really interesting conversation that we seem to keep having, not only in reality shows, but in life, because it's about your feelings, right? It's about the tone. It's about context. There's all of these things. And it's really frustrating. These conversations can be uncomfortable to have because you are trying to like work your way around everything. And it feels like impossible. And I want, like, listen, I really do like Crystal. I think she's even a little confused here, but at the same time, you can't deny somebody's feelings just because, you know, I don't know. I go back and forth on this one. Yeah, I go back and forth on this one with Crystal. So they keep going with this thing about Kyle, like Sutton and La Quinta. And we also go to that comment that was said about the pool. Sutton said to Crystal, and I can't believe we're still talking about this a year later, but it was that scene outside where Crystal was like, yeah, I found what she said about the pool offensive. And it was like a flashback to 2020. And Sutton's like, well, Porter asked to have friends over and they were sitting outside in the jacuzzi. And I thought, there's my white child with black girls. A Chinese girl was in the jacuzzi, probably a red-headed Irish Catholic girl. And I'm like, this is what it should be. I say. So what Sutton thought she was saying was like, my jacuzzi is like the United Nations. Like, it's very positive. But in a sense, like, it's like, it's like, like heavy-handed doing this and thinking you're like this savior in a way, when it's like, just let things be sometimes. Crystal says, also, there is that age gap. And I know that's why they keep saying millennial, but Crystal says, I found it very offensive conversation. And you guys, you don't have, it's just, that's it. And Andy's like, okay, Sutton, what's your reaction to all this? Because this seems to be really clearing you of having said one specific thing. And Sutton's like, well, I think we all know I'm not a racist, so that's great. And Garcelle's like, we knew that. And Sutton's like, well, I understand where Crystal was coming from last year. Then maybe I used words that I shouldn't have used. And we talked, I say about this, and I've learned a lot of stuff because we can be friends and we can move through. And I think this respect from this group needs to be there as well. I say, my God, like, Sutton for president, right? Rinna's like, why make this okay? Why is this okay? Why is this okay?
Why is this all of a sudden smooth down?
Crystal's like, why can't you guys allow us to be okay? And Andy goes, I think it's great that you're okay. But I spent 3 episodes watching, wondering what this dark comment was. And Crystal was like, why can't you make this a learning experience? And Andy says, the learning experience seems to be, don't accuse anyone of saying something specifically very dark on television.
And don't back it up.
Exactly. And Dorit goes, the reason why you brought it up, Garcelle had said to you, Crystal, I feel like Sutton could have said anything and you would have jumped down her throat. And Garcelle goes, that's exactly right. And in an effort to make yourself look good, you said, no, actually, I love this. Feels like a Knives Out, like a mystery, like they're solving a mystery together, but the mystery is just all boring. So they're saying that, like, what are we doing? Crystal's trying to save herself. And Crystal says, I feel like it was an incredibly impossible situation. I never wanted to bring it up. It's one of my biggest regrets, not just in the experience of the show, but in my life. And Andy says, after Crystal said she wasn't in a safe space in La Quinta, Kyle called her a dramatic millennial. Kyle, what does it mean to be a dramatic millennial? And isn't that redundant? And Kyle's like, I just felt that the words like violated and not a safe space. So she's saying like the buzzwords, like the words that we all know, but like, fucking let the kids have their music. Let the kids have their words. I don't fucking care. I'm not like threatened. Sometimes it's funny to hear, but like, listen, I still go around saying rad sometimes. Hey, that's radical. Like, what the fuck is my problem? Cause I was like, yeah, but someone broke into my home, didn't bring me a jacket. Because they're talking about the violation thing. Well, like Sutton brought in a jacket and you said that was violated, but your home didn't get broken into. And Drew goes, yeah, that's a little different. And Crystal goes, but why do you have to spend weeks harping on someone's word as opposed to asking their experience? That's all you do. Why don't you get to know me better? Which that is a fucking point there, you guys, is okay. So you don't understand it, but try to understand where I'm coming from in my experience. And maybe you'll actually get to know me better instead of just thinking I'm a millennial. And Kyle's like, I was trying to get to know you better, but what I was seeing was someone who was, instead of seeking the truth, was making up a story. And Crystal goes, why do you just assume it's a story? What if it's actually my truth? And Kyle's like, but your truth wasn't true. It is true to me. And Kyle's like, you just said that you were making that up. You just said that was a story. I'm not making up anything. And Kyle's like, there was no real dark story. And Andy goes, as a millennial, you said you were surprised that these women didn't know that requesting Michael Jackson was problematic these days. And Crystal smiles and Kyle goes, what? And Andy goes, is requesting Michael Jackson problematic? And Crystal's like, yeah, I think so. And Erica's like, why? And Andy's like, so it's problematic because of the accusations. Dorit goes, because of the accusations. And Erica's like,
that shouldn't be the case.
She's just scared that her one hit song, and I say hit loosely, can't be played because of her problematic ass. Erica's like,
he beat the case.
Talking about Michael Jackson and, the alleged dude, guys, watch Finding Neverland on HBO. It's one of the darker 4-hour documentaries you'll ever see, but it's very powerful. Very, very powerful. And it was really upsetting, these accusations, and it didn't ring false to me. Everybody can make up their own mind, but listen, like I always say on this, I don't fucking listen to R. Kelly anymore. Sorry, you can go for it. Dance it up. I don't care. But I choose not to. It doesn't make me feel good. It makes me think of a weirdo. And then he's like peeing on people while he's like writing Bump and Grind. Like, I'm good. There's like a lot of other good music I can that's like the cool thing is there's always something good out there that you can turn to that doesn't have this shit attached to it. Also, Erica has this funny point of always saying
He beat the case.
she only speaks in legalese. Like, you know, Michael might have done those accusations, but he beat the case. That's what, like, she truly, it's like all legalese. It doesn't matter if you did the crime, but if you can beat it, you're good. So Crystal goes, there are accusations. And then Andy goes, Think Reality TV said, I really want to know what Crystal did to get 14 of her friends mad at her. I believe it too, because 14 is such a specific number. And Garcelle laughs, it's a weird number. And Crystal goes, actually, Rinna, you like gave me incredible advice, which I usually do. And Crystal's like, I just said, you know, I've been dealing with women that are suddenly not talking to me since I've done the show, and said, get ready. She said, get ready. This is the beginning. And Kyle said, some of these people were asked to be on the show, though. And Crystal goes, that's why. And Kyle goes, you said, since you've been on the show, you've noticed a difference with these women. Some of these people asked to be on the show. And Crystal goes, no. I know, but it's when I got on the show. It's before. And Kyle's like, didn't you just say that after I did the show they got weird with me? And Erica's like,
That's what she did say.
and Chris is like, after I did the show, after I said yes, the show. And Kyle goes, okay, this is very confusing. And he's like, and it was a big, Chris is like, how is that confusing? And Kyle goes, because you just contradicted yourself. And then Erica's like,
Shamo, beat it. Just beat it. No.
And Kyle goes, because you just contradicted yourself. And Chris is like, I just clarified it. How is it confusing? Are you confused? And Erica goes,
I am.
We know, Erica, we're not talking to you right now. Kyle's like, you just changed your story. You said that women, after you started filming, they got weird. And she said, get used to it, like, because you're on a TV show now. And Krista goes, let me clarify. It started before I filmed. And Kyle goes, oh, okay. So it has nothing to do with you being on a TV show. I heard about it. It had nothing completely to do with the show, but I don't want to talk about stuff that was said about it. Commercial break. Andy goes, joining us here from her home in Hawaii is the fabulous Diana Jenkins. And this would have been fun if Asher like, whoo, ha, like moonwalked just to get a little plug in. Because I mean, if this was done for Asher's career, oh, that's sad, man. Because it didn't work. It didn't help. Dad's like, hi, everybody. It's me, Diana Jenkins. Hello. Erica, Rinna, Dorit say hi, Diana. Garcelle looks not interested. Very important. Diana goes, I'm so sorry. I'm not there. She looks like she's like potentially a hostage reading off a teleprompter. And he's like, you're very sick. But I gotta tell you, if this is sick, you look pretty good. Ha ha ha. I'm actually not sick. I just don't want to be there. She didn't say that, you guys. It's a joke. Diana laughs. You don't want to see what I look like this morning. And he goes, well, I wanted to start with some burning questions. Your lawyers have been up our ass your lawyers have been very busy over the last few weeks. You've been busy sending cease and desist letters because there's a lot of rumors about you're online that you're trying to clear up. I guess the biggest accusation was that you were sort of a madam and your book was a catalog of call girls in some way. And we see a dailymail.com headline, Diana Jenkins has sent out 8 cease and desist letters to several bloggers and publications over ridiculous sex trafficking rumors. And Diana goes, nothing can be more further from the truth. Really, that book was done. I'm very proud of it. It has nothing to do. It has done a lot of good for a lot of people. So it broke my heart that I have to now, defend something so special. And Andy goes, there's a lot of online chatter linking you to Jeffrey Epstein. What can you tell me about that? Did you know him? And we get a reality blurb headline. Diana Jenkins. Why do we ever get New York Times headlines? It's always like reality tandme.com. Diana Jenkins defends herself against ties to Jeffrey Epstein, claims puts ridiculous madam rumor to rest. And Diana goes, I never met that man. It's actually very easy to find out. The picture was in 97, somewhere in New York. Now, in 97, I was refugee in London without even paperwork. So it's actually physical impossibility. I guess that settles that. You've been linked from everyone from Justin Timberlake to Guy Ritchie as well. Dude, Andy, she's been fucking linked to Kid Rock. I love that you didn't fucking bring that up. The Justin Timberlake, Guy Ritchie, I've barely heard of. I've looked Diana Jenkins up plenty of times and seen pictures of like Randy Jackson from American Idol, Chris Brown, Kid Rock's in multiple photos. I don't think I've seen a lot of Justin Timberlake, Guy Ritchie ones. And Diana goes, femme fatale. My gosh, I'm very busy woman. I don't know how I do it. Very busy, but they're my friends. Am I allowed to have friends? Some of the ladies laugh. Garcelle once again does not. Andy goes, well, we got a lot of questions about you licking your lips. Have you ever noticed? And Diana goes, oh my God. And we get a small montage of Diana licking the whole upper half of her face and lower half of her jaw. And she's like, right now I'm just thinking, don't lick your lips. Don't lick your lips. It's actually a nervous tick. It's not attractive. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for putting you through that. Is it big tongue? And then she winks. I think no, she didn't. But and then Andy's like, you recently caused a bit of a mess with a woman behind the Instagram account at Philly Diva. What happened there? Another headline with radar this time. Diana Jenkins sparks fury with shady black content creator. Clapback quickly backpedals. Diana's like, I'm mortified by it. I'm really mortified by it. And Andy's like, what did you think you were saying? Well, black content to me, I just associated with dark web, with something that is not positive, if you'll say, didn't associate it with a female, a woman, or her skin color, none of that. And Crystal's like, Crystal, when she explained that to you, did you understand her intent? And Crystal's like, well, when I first saw it, I was like, what the, so I was like, I'm just going to call her out. And she just started screaming like, can you believe there's black content creators out there? And I said, what are you saying? And she said that they admit they write mean things just to troll us. And I really then understood that she didn't understand. And Diana goes, I honestly think it took me 10 minutes to process. And then it was really fast apology. And I can't apologize enough. I don't know, guys, maybe. Sometimes I don't understand is like these worldly people, these people that are so rich and like do so much good in charity and let us know all of this stuff. They always make these mistakes. That it's like, well, how do I know that? And how do you know that? And all I can chalk it up to is, hopefully it's the foreign thing, I don't know. But like, you don't get to where Diana is and you don't sue as easily or send cease and desist, as easily as Diana does. I mean, it just all adds up to bad for me, So Andy goes, in Aspen, the Lion Air crash victims were a big topic of conversation. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But Diana, you said that if people were so passionate about the victims, they should put their money where their mouth is. And you recently announced that you gave money to the victims. So have you? And Diana goes, I did. I already did. Money has been given. While Erica is fighting her fight legally, her hands are tied. I feel like we can join efforts and help. And Andy's like, Erica, what was your reaction to her donation? I was wondering if you would be pissed in some way. No, because Andy's like, it seemed like a troll in some way. And no, not at all. I think Diana was basically saying, if we're going to hammer about widows and orphans, why doesn't someone do something instead of berate, This is so ridiculous, you guys. Erica, it's just so ridiculous. Like, why didn't you fucking do an episode then of like raising money for orphans and widows? Like, you don't have to admit guilt. You can have all your friends. Like Diana did it. So you're telling me that Rinna can't donate all the proceeds, all $30 of Rinna Beauty from one day of sales to the fucking orphans and widows? Why doesn't everybody join in then? I know I did my part. You see these fucking lingeries and the painting, like all this shit. Like that was money that supposedly went to the victims. I don't understand why couldn't they have made that an episode? And, you could show that everybody cares, just like Diana did. If Diana did it, she's a cast member, so everybody else can do it too. So Diana's like, with a guilty conscience, I can't be part of storyline where I know there are victims and orphans and not to do something about it. I think that's wonderful. Can I have a ring? And Diana's like, there's a lot of people right now accusing you of being behind the bots that went after God. No, this is Andy, but Juliana, how dare you? You wrote Diana here and it's Andy. Sorry. Anyways, and they show the name blurred and it's another bot that says you'd have your neck nailed on if it weren't for your white daddy. And Andy's like, I'm curious, Garcelle, what's going on through your mind? At this point when you thought she was behind it. And Garcelle was like, yeah, I did think she was behind it. If I'm going to be honest, I did think she was behind that. Absolutely. You think I would send that to Jax? I did. Yeah. Then you obviously have very low opinion of me if you think that I would be behind bullying 14-year-old. And Garcelle, this is what I'm talking about. Stillness, you guys, goes, yeah. Nipples hard. Diana goes, I don't know how evil I must appear that you would even consider that I would do that to Jax. And Garcelle goes, Diana also sent me. And Diana interrupts with something and they're like, blah, 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 blah. And Garcelle goes, I'm talking. Can you let me finish, please? She also sent me a threatening text. And Andy's like, what was the text, Diana? And Diana's like, I asked her to take to pencil the name when we were getting death threats. And Garcelle's like, first of all, Jax was at his dad's house when he got the very last text. That was horrific. And it's the same text that was written a moment ago. And Garcelle says, and in the post-it said about the knee on his neck, it mentioned leave Diana alone. He wrote on the text, you've gone too far at this point, and posted that. And Garcelle says he's a 14-year-old kid. He's got this horrendous message. He's not thinking, let me take out Diana's name so she's not implicated. He put it out there because he was fearful he'd had enough. So Diana thinks that we should have taken her name out. And Diana's like, no, I said pencil, protect our families because we are getting death threats. Also, unless rich people have different Instagrams, I don't think like pencils are. I use my Instagram on my phone, and there's like, you can see it. There's like buttons and shit like that. There's like not a pen, maybe it's a fancy one that have the pencils. I don't know. And Garcelle goes, but Diana, I'm saying when Jax received that, he wasn't thinking about protecting anybody but himself. He's a child. And Diana's like, that's exactly what I'm saying. Pencil. What is a pencil? Like, calm down with this pencil already. My God. Pencil. Maybe pen too. What about chalk? Let's do chalk. Crayons. Garcelle goes, are you fucking kidding me? You want me to? No, wait a minute. So you want me in the middle of me wanting to protect my child? I have to then come and save all you? And Erica's like,
You don't need to save me.
nobody needs to save you, Erica. You're unsavable. Garcelle goes, this is outrageous. Everybody has now picked it up. So now I have to come and save you. I was like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that maybe what she meant. And Garcelle goes, that's outrageous to me. And Diana's like, I do understand, sweetheart. Ooh, when somebody calls somebody sweetheart. Ugh. Well, what I am telling you is we got death threats. In my country, when they issue threats, those are actual threats. And Garcelle's like, well, your threat was an actual threat to me as well. And Andy's like, what was the threatening message? And Garcelle says, it was pretty much, if anything happens to my family, I am coming for you. They show the message from Diana to Garcelle, and it's all in capitals. And it says, believe me when I say, if anything happens to my children, you will be held legally responsible. And no Bravo contract will stop me. Ha, Andy Cohen. No, I guess by backing Sheree, take down my birthday post, you wanted to solidify me as a racist and actually ruin my life. So the no Bravo contract will stop me kind of is wild. And Diana's like, but how? Was it legally or physically? Because if something happens to my kids. And Garcelle goes, a threat is a threat. Now we have to dissect a threat. A threat is a threat. And Diana is screaming, no, Garcelle, this is not a threat. I have a murder in my family. My family has been murdered. Murder is murder. And when somebody tells you they are going to stab your son or daughter with a knife, that's a threat. And Garcelle goes, I understand that, but Diana's still screaming, it's not cease and desist. Very different when my lawyer call you. It's different when somebody takes a gun and points it at you. Diana is getting angry and angrier to try to make her threatening text to Garcelle seem less a threat and kind of switch the scenario and almost like gaslight it in a way. I posted that image that Maritza made a long time ago, Gaslight Island from 2 seasons ago. And this is another one of those things. Like, you can get angrier all you want, but you still got to make a solid point. Now, I get the point of you've had people in your life that have been murdered, like your brother, which was like horrific. You've obviously come from a country with a war-torn country, right? But also all the threatening texts that were coming out were coming towards Jax. If you're getting threatening texts, bring those out as well. Bring those out as well. Show us. But also remember, the way they order these bots, anybody can do it. Like Garcelle's saying it's everybody here, and Diana's like, nobody here did it. But like, listen, somebody could give the order to do it. I could have done it, right? Like Rinna could have been like, why didn't you send a bot? And I could have sent it from my computer. Rinna wouldn't be tied to that. They'd be like, that guy hates Rinna. He would never do that. Like, but you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's going to fucking find out that Diana like hopped on our fucking MacBook and ordered these bots. Like, no, like, you think any of those ladies are that dumb? Maybe Rinna, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, but no, that would never happen. Like, somebody else would do it for them. Yeah, it would be very hard to, I think, ever tie this back to anybody. But we'll find out, right? There's massive investigation. Like, this is like OJ. Let's find the killer. I will not rest until we find the killer of my beautiful wife. And it's like, oh, I looked in the mirror. Here he is. Sorry, I'm still salty about OJ walking free. So Diana's like, so sorry. These are different types of threats. And Garcelle goes, yeah, I'm not talking to her anymore, Andy. And Diana's like, okay, well, you know what? I will help you protect your child. I have a means to have my lawyers. We're going to find out who actually did this. And Garcelle says, Garcelle goes, absolutely. I have an investigation as well. And Andy goes, if Diana was here today, what would be the number one thing you'd want to say to her? And Garcelle goes, I would want to say to Diana, why is she so obsessed with me? That's what I'd like to know. And Diana goes, because you're gorgeous. So creepy. And Andy's like, you don't mean it that way. And Garcelle goes, no, I don't. And Andy goes, you mean it how? And Garcelle goes, she is targeting me on social media almost every day, sometimes twice a day. They show a post in Diana's social media about account SD Gennaro, Jneuro. And it goes, in what world is it okay to laugh about watching someone burn to death, spitting on her, speechless, with a picture of Garcelle on her phone when she's talking to Sheree. Another, dear Garcelle, next time you go on national television, why don't you educate viewers on how many times I went to Haiti, your home country? Why is it, Garcelle's got to educate people on where you go. And then yet another example, you are all actually with her mocking my spelling publicly from that message. Neither of them could find something else to bully me on, but my spelling, my accent, and my miscarriage, I am not surprised. They are fan favorites for a reason, right? It's a fan base that's worrisome. Okay, so now it's in the fan base. Now we're like, oh, it's fan favorites and stuff. Listen, you guys, remember Erica and Rinna were fan favorites for so long. Like, don't play the fan favorites cards. And also, like, Diana, your first season, very rarely do first season get like love out of her. Like, I mean, I think it was Leah McSweeney got so much love the first season. Next season, she was fucking hated. Listen, if you could have played this cool, maybe next season we would have liked you. But at the same time, I think you realized halfway through that you don't need this and it's too much of a pain. Right? It's not going to help you at all. It's not worth it. And it kind of probably proved to be embarrassing for you in a lot of ways. Garcelle goes, I don't want you to harass me on social media. I haven't harassed anyone here on social media. And Diana goes, what are you saying? What are you saying? And it's like, she's saying you've been going after her online. And Garcelle goes, constantly, please leave me alone. Leave me alone. I don't hate you, Diana. I just want to be left alone. Next week, the reunion continues. And we're going to get into that in 1 second. I'm going to have some tea for my voice.